Well, without access to education, as shocks are experienced, including loss of life, health impacts, and loss of livelihoods, children are more vulnerable and unprotected. As household finances are being strained and needs increase, out of school children are more likely to be exposed to risks like family violence, child labor, forced marriage, trafficking, and exploiting, including by responders. Well, we have a caller now. Hello.
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 Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I get you. Yes, I get you.
Hello.
Hello. I get you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Sir, I would like to ask you about like many students are turning to online education technology. Like,
Yes.
what do you have to say on this, sir?
This is a very good question, and it pertains to the needs of the present times.
Yes,
Actually,
sir.
with the onset of this COVID, so many things have gone topsy-turvy, and most of the domains are getting really, they are reeling under pressure because they are not able to start their operations under normal conditions. So here, the education sector is also very badly affected. This particular academic year seems to be very, very difficult because there are three categories of students like primary graded ones and little higher senior graded and those who are passing out of the colleges. So when we take into consideration all these domains, definitely there is a very great gap looming between the intention of the teachers and the students with respect to the online teaching because the online teaching seems to be the only option at present. But how far this is viable? Because we have India is a very big country spread out under different domains and with different varying economic conditions. So we have to really see whether this online teaching matches with the aspirations of the people and the colleges and the educationists and the government as a whole. So when we take it in a larger or a broader perspective, so many things will crop up like the educationists are thinking that there shouldn't be any gap between the learning process of a student because once some the cognitive faculties of a student are not awakened to a considerable extent, then naturally some lacunae will develop in the student and he will lose the power of grasping. So connectivity has to be established at all phases. So educationists are stressing that under these conditions, since regular classroom teaching is not possible, so online education as a viable it's a viable opportunity or it's a viable medium to teach students is being considered nowadays. And it's being implemented also in some colleges. This is a good option, but we have to really see how far this works out. Because some states like Karnataka have already taken a decision that they are not going to implement online education for the students up to fifth grade, that is primary school of education. That's a good decision because the online education puts a lot of stress on the tender children who are being already more exposed to these technical gadgets. And these children really require the personal care, attention, and teaching of the students. So they cannot sit before the monitors and grasp the education. So up to fifth standard, it should be made mandatory not to implement online education and only for the higher ups to just maintain a kind of continuum in the education process. Some kind of online teaching is good, but the number of hours before the monitor have to be really taken into consideration because the electromagnetic exposure which the student undergoes is is of paramount importance. The radiologists have already warned that too much of exposure to these gadgets really brings down the mutative capacity and it will affect the cognitive abilities of the student. The cerebrospinum, which is in the brain, is really getting affected by all these radiations. So the student will find it difficult in later days to grasp or to develop some kind of interest towards any type of learning also. So that's a serious situation, even in the Western countries also, where the countries are really techno-savvy. They have restricted the kind of online teaching to the primary graded students and only for the higher ups, that too for a very brief period that is being allowed. So all these factors, when we take into consideration here in India also, taking the economic aspect, because India is a developing country and the economic facilities are not really, they don't show any kind of feasibility for every parent to opt for all these things, because it requires a laptop, Wi-Fi facility and other things. So all these things have to be procured by the parent to enable the child to undergo this online education. That needs to be taken into consideration. And for the higher ups, like those who are really passing out of the graduation, for them, online is the best medium, because that will really help them find out the opportunities that are available in the world. They have to really work through the online system to find out the universities where the specializations they are trying to, do are available, and what are the modes of joining those institutions. All these things will be made clear under online teaching. And some those who are opting for research also, there is a help from the professors and the entire team of researchers as to the real themes that are in demand for the research works. So all these things are really useful, conducive and congenial for the higher ups. So the online education which is being implemented now in the COVID times is good that way and has to be adopted that way only. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Ah, yeah, yes, I get you.
Yeah, so as we are talking about technology, well, I would like to ask you, is the technology designed for responsible use and to prevent addiction?
Yeah, this is something which is really worrying the minds of so many people across the country. Not only across the country, even the whole world is being amazed by this particular kind of question, because the technical addiction,
Yes.
which we can, if we are allowed to really give this term, this particular title, is really a very dangerous thing, because technology is quite inviting by its very nature. And
Yes, sir.
especially the children are really very fond of technology, because it gives them the visual picturization of the concepts which they read in the book, in a textbook or any other kind of
Exactly,
book.
sir.
So what happens is that when once a child is exposed to the world of colors, naturally it will be fascinated and it wants to stick to that particular type of mode of learning only.
Yes, sir.
And being exposed to the radiation quite on and off, the first problem is with the eyes. Now, as you can see, most of the children are wearing spectacles,
Yes, sir.
which was not the scenario hitherto. In the yesteryears, only grown-ups were having the specs, but now spectacles have become a common feature with most of the students.
Exactly.
Their iris, their pupil, and everything, the entire retina is also getting damaged due to the overexposure to these electronic gadgets. So their tender, delicate eyes being exposed for a long time to this harmful radiation are really proving to be quite detrimental to them.
Yes.
So that is one way. The second thing is most of them are plugging their ears into some kind of devices to hear better voice. So even that is also proving very, very difficult. The noise, the headsets and other things are really proving very detrimental to the students, children and to the younger ones, because it will directly pinch upon the very thin layer which is present in the ear. So continuous impingement of such radiation or such noise or voice will definitely bring down the hearing capacity of the student also.
Yes.
And once the vision and the hearing both go, the cognitive development of the student will be very, very meager, or we can say it's very slow. So
Yes.
that way it hampers all the developmental capacities of the student. So these things, the olfactory organs have to be kept intact. Then the food habits also change, because the student, when he or she sits before the teacher, is very alert, very careful, very watchful, ready to grasp anything from the teacher. But once you are in your own house, in your own space, that too in the presence of the parents, that too before a monitor, then the child will have unlimited freedom to behave in its own way.
Yes, sir.
So it will, and that is where a very big fault is happening because the child will not show all its interest to grasp what the teacher is saying. And the other thing is, in the schools, most of the education what the child gets is out of the textbook only. The
Exactly.
teacher generally makes the student how we have to behave with others and
Yeah.
how we have to talk, how we have to receive things, how we have to thanks give, how we have to conduct ourselves. All these moral elements, the teacher by practice, by her person, she will demonstrate to the students.
Yes.
So that's the real education what is happening. It is integral and total and it's a kind of holistic education.
Yes.
Whereas in online mode, everything is lost. Only some information is being transmitted from teacher to the student. So
Yes, sir.
we are losing a lot. That everyone should understand. The online education can never ever replace the regular classroom teaching. That is
Exactly,
the
sir.
best. That is the time-tested education. Actually, the student, when he or she enters the school for the first time, the child is open to the world. It
Yes.
is a vast world. Previously, it was in some house. It was confined to its own apartment. But now it is entering into the wide open world. There, it interacts with so many youngsters, so many friends, peers, other students. Then it gets to know how to behave with them. That socialization starts only at this school. So the sociologists define school as an institution which opens up all types of socio-cultural modalities in the students.
Yes.
So this type of process, when it is beginning at the school, when that interaction is not given to the student, that's a huge loss for the student.
Yes, sir. How will small children maintain social distance in the school, sir, as they are just children? And also, how will the school monitor of the students during the recess and tiffin time?
Yeah, I think it's really next to impossibility to make a
Yeah.
student maintain social distance. I think you agree with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really impossible because children by nature love to spend time with others. They love to mix with others. They love
Yes.
to play with others and indulge in all sorts of activities with others. So it's very difficult to restrain or to contain them to maintain a kind of social distance which is being made mandatory by the government. And even the MHA also is very strict that
Yes.
every student has to maintain the social distance if it is allowed to sit in the classrooms.
Yes.
But I don't think personally it's going to happen because once they are in the classroom, in the presence of the teacher, sometimes it might happen, but once the teacher is off, then again this randomness will come, the indulgence will come, and the interaction will increase. So it's very difficult. That too, during the breaks also, the students they will move together. They will really have the occasion to touch each other. So if anybody is infected, definitely that would be transmitted to the other student quite easily and naturally and without even the consciousness of the student also.
Yes, sir.
So that's going to be the scenario.
Well, also, sir, how will the Indian classrooms, which are generally crammed with students, so
Yes.
what will they have a different look post-COVID scenario?
Yes, this is going to really intrigues the minds of all the school managements because
Yes,
the
sir.
schools will sooner or later they will be made to reopen
Yes.
once the escalation of the COVID cases is brought down.
Yes.
So then the real challenge is to accommodate all these students who have been in the house so long to put them in the school, as you said, to cram them in small classrooms. That's going to be a real challenge
Yes.
because the Indian schools they have few sections wherein so many students are made to sit in one classroom.
Yes.
So now the school management has to really revise their schedules. They have to make it alternate. They have to divide the whole section into two parts. And one part, if one part is arriving at the school today, the other part arrives next day. Like this, some rotation basis should be there.
Yes.
Or intra-splitting of the class should be there if sufficient space is available.
Yes,
But
sir.
that's a quite rarity because that can happen only with respect to some international schools or public schools.
Yes,
But
sir.
generally, with respect to other schools which are having a very limited space, I don't think there is any possibility of spreading out or maintaining this type of activity. They have to rather follow the rotation basis only. Then even during the day also, morning shift and afternoon shift, they have to devise shift system in the schools where they can further split that group into two parts so that social distancing, at least social seating
Yes,
is
sir.
possible. So such types of thinking, innovative ideas have to spring up from the minds of the school managements. Then they have to make facility for the sanitization. That is very important
Y-
because you can't expect student to carry small children to carry sanitizers with them. So the school management has to provide a central sanitization center where every child is sanitized now and then. Then it must be given the opportunity to wash its hands now and then it must be kept in some hygiene conditions.
Yes.
And even at the time of taking their lunch or snacks, they should be seated properly so that none indulges with the other, none interferes into the eating of the other. So
Yes.
such distance has to be maintained. All these things are really going to matter a lot because if a child is sick for 1 or 2 days, then it should be really the parents should be called for, then the child should be home quarantined for some time
Yes.
until it gets better. Because at the tender age, their immunity levels will be somewhat lesser. So to catch infections, the probability is very high.
Yes.
So all these things have to be taken into consideration. And the reopening of the schools is going to be really a very big challenge, mountainous challenge for the educationists this year. Already the academic year is through and some schools are beginning with the online education. So I don't know whether it will take 2 months, a couple of months or 3 months time for the schools to reopen. It all depends upon the number of the cases. So we have to really wait and see what happens in future. And once if the schools are really open, they have to devise so many strategies to contain these COVID cases amongst the students. So that is going to be the real challenge.
Yes, sir. Also, in many rural areas, the e-teaching may not work, sir, due to lack of network or electricity, or how will they manage? What do you have to say on this?
Yes, that is one more thing because all the while we have been contemplating or thinking only about the urban areas
Yes,
or the cities or the bigger towns. But the most of
because
the
the
population in
teacher-student
India,
interaction is the only alternative in such cases.
exactly, you are right. In the rural settings, as you said, the only way to give education or learning is through teacher to student method only. There is no alternative because most of the rural settings they don't have the Wi-Fi facility also.
Yes,
And even if Wi-Fi facility is there in some cases by chance, most of them being dependent on the agriculture and some kind of local activities for
exactly.
occasions, you can't expect them to procure the modern gadgets like laptop and other things for their child. That too
Okay.
in the rural settings, the children will be many in number, so they can't provide to all the children.
Yes,
So all these things have to be taken into consideration, and in that case, the school has to devise a different method. It should make everyone, all the students, to assemble at one community hall or some proper place where a centralized Wi-Fi system will project these classes, online classes, which are held by all the students. So such facility or some innovative thinking has to take place because the academic year should not be lost and you cannot compel everyone to buy all these things also. So in the rural setting, it is more challenging. The government has to allocate extra funds
yes,
to make everyone avail this particular option of online teaching. So the
yes.
government has to come forward. And in the urban areas, as we have seen, it's a altogether a different setting. So that's how the planning has to be done to affect the online teaching, both in the rural and in the urban areas.
Yes. Finally, sir, what are the long-term effects of e-classes on students, and what do you have to say on this online education technology?
Yeah, one thing I would like to make it very clear. The online education is only a kind of makeshift arrangement.
Yes.
It can never ever replace the traditional system of teacher-student type of learning,
Yes.
classroom learning, regular learning. Because when a person is not well and when a person is not able to breathe properly, he will
Yes.
be kept under ventilator only to facilitate that breathing to take place. But since oxygen is available, we can't make that ventilation continuous. It is only for a brief period. It's a
Exactly.
makeshift arrangement. So the online education is also like the employment of the ventilator. It is only a makeshift, temporary arrangement, only to continue the education in the times of such menace like COVID or even some other thing we can say. So
Yeah.
this online education is only for the time being. And during this particular time period also, the students should be kept, they should be under the watchful eyes of the parents because there is every chance of getting misused. This online education, under the pretext of education, they might be watching like something like sports or cartoons or whatever they like.
Yes.
So that has to be minimized, checked, supervised by the parents. And it's going to be a real challenge because the online education is really a very harmful thing for the student.
Students, yes.
That every parent should understand. It should make the student sit before the monitor. If at all it has to receive only through online education, only during that particular time period of that class.
Yes.
And again, it should be diverted into some other useful activity because there are so many other things like music, literature, so many other things are available to even pursuits are there
Yes.
where students can excel and enrich their capacities.
Yes.
Such occasions should be given to them and the online exposure should be minimized. It should be rather curtailed.
Yes.
Okay, that should be the plan of action for the parents and teachers also.
Well, finally, sir, about 1.5 billion children globally are out of school due to COVID-19. So, what could be the effects of this, sir? As there may be some short-time impact initially,
Yes.
but now the situation is different, right?
Yeah, you mean to say
What could be the effects of this?
effect of so many children?
Yes, sir. About 1.5 billion children globally are out of school due to COVID-19.
Yes,
What
yes.
could be the effect of this?
Definitely, the effect could be devastating because generally the student is expected to follow the academic schedule quite carefully and methodically, logically, because that alone helps him to further his learning capacities. Once
Yes.
there is such gap or any other lacuna, that would really hamper his progress.
Yes.
So everyone should take care that such a thing doesn't happen and students are given a continuous momentum regarding learning.
Yes.
That's why the online teaching is given only to give an impetus to that kind of continuous learning. Learning should never be broken. It should be continuous all through. So there
Yes.
should be no break in the education. That is the primary law of all education or all knowledge seeking. Education, like a river, has to be perennial. It should be all time flowing. There should be no break or drying up or getting segmentized. So, in the present times, the government has thought about the online method of teaching to the students. Even the CBSE, ICSE have made it mandatory that the student receive education through online methods, but only up to this particular point of time. And later, when the situation normalizes, the classroom education begins, and
Yes.
there the student naturally would enter into the classrooms and would receive education as it was doing before.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Sukumar, for joining us on live.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
For the most vulnerable children, education is life-saving. Not only does it provide safety and protection, importantly, it also instills hope for a brighter future. So continuing education through alternative learning pathways as soon as possible must also be a top priority right now to ensure the interruption to education is as limited as possible. We urgently need to support teachers, parents, caregivers, innovators, communication experts and all those who are positioned to provide education, whether through radio programs, homeschoolings, online learnings and other innovative approaches.